On the development finance side, Jane, are you seeing banks that are lending? Is it easing at all as time goes by?
I think there are things out there for sort of well-established sort of businesses. I think a lot of the speculative sort of developments that were going on, there isn't really funding for those. But if you're an established developer with a good stock of assets to back up that funding, then the banks are finding funds to lend to you. But it all depends on how good your balance sheet is, and it's not there for speculative projects of where perhaps you were relying on the cash flows to pay things out. They're looking really, one, can you sustain that loan throughout the development, and what assets have you got to back it up?
So when you say not speculative, people have to do a large deal with a housing association or with a university, or...
That's it. It's more the quality of the people that they're in partnership with, which I think is what's been driving the private sector into going into partnerships with the RSLs, the housing associations. That's what's driving them there. If they didn't need to go there, they probably wouldn't be there. It's the market that's driving really, and looking at how they can move their stock, how they can still develop out sites that they've got, and how they can put the things together.
Are you seeing more of RSLs, the registered social landlords, directly developing schemes themselves, where they've got the land, they get a contractor and they become the developer? Yeah,
that's what I'm finding, is that the RSLs, as I said, there's two particular ones that I'm dealing with at the moment that are each looking to develop out their own schemes. They've got the land, they're looking to do small little sort of projects. One's in housing for the elderly, and if they get the elderly into the housing, that will release the family accommodation within the local area, so that's what they're doing. Another one is wanting to get people into their starter homes, so they will never be, it's not under the shared ownership at all, but they will come in and it will give them time then to save up to buy a house, and they will have that part of that shared ownership. So there's two different takes on them, but the RSLs are getting more into looking at how they can react with the market and find products to sort of generate incomes and future revenue streams for themselves.
The latest announcements from the HCA was the idea of new schemes maybe coming from forward funding from pension funds or institutions that weren't previously involved in the rented sector. What's been the early feedback from the institutional market for that?
Well, we've just launched some work on that, and it's about getting that feedback into the organisation to see if there is really that interest out there to take that forward. So, we do think there is the possibility, and we're keen to pursue it.
Is that something you could see a day where there was a scheme that purely came about because of a pension fund backer?
It is, maybe some of our investment colleagues might care to comment on the potential returns for a pension fund. Certainly we are already in discussions with the pension fund about student housing rather than social housing. But pension funds do have significant monies to invest, and they're looking for long-term stable returns, and social housing would seem to be an ideal candidate for giving someone a long-term stable return.